So today is going to be another attempt to make a review video, or I should say a summary video of my bike as you can see it, or I just filmed it. I've had it now for 23 months, a total of 12,145 kilometers. I'll try to zoom out a little bit. I don't want to scare you with my wonderful Wisconsin cap up there. Today I actually even have a script with me, so hopefully I'll hit all the points that I'm supposed to hit. I'm not a professional YouTuber, but I'll give it the best shot I can. So let's go for it. Later. I want to start out in the back with the drivetrain. Basically what you have here is you have a Shimano 6100 series all steel 12 gear cassette. The chain is also a 6100 series. It's all steel. It's 116 link. When you buy the bike, or when you buy a chain for the bike, a replacement chain, try to get the right size, otherwise you're going to have all kinds of links left over. So I stick with the 116 link, and that seems to work out just fine. Front chain ring, which I haven't replaced yet, I'm getting ready to replace. This is a all steel KMC 38 tooth chain ring. The derailleur in the back is an XT with the XT long cage. The bike, as you can see, and excuse my biker sniffles here, is a Cube, which is basically a consumer level brand bike. This is a cross country mountain bike, electric mountain bike, which I've more or less converted into a sub, or SUV, I'm sorry. And I use it primarily for bike packing. Sure, I love going off-road. I love being in the woods, driving the trails, but I don't go down hills. I don't like roots, and I definitely don't like rocks. Okay, back to the script. The back rack, as you can see here, this is actually a gravel version of the Acid back rack, which costs about 50 euros. I had to add that extra. The mud guards, the front and rear, are also from Acid, the Acid line, which is a product line pretty much made especially for Cube bikes. When purchasing the mud guards in the back rack, make sure that you buy the Boost version. Boost refers to the width of the axle, which I believe is 147 millimeters. The crank arms, they came with the bike, but I did have to add the pedals. The pedals that came with the bike were pretty cheap, basic ones, you know, and these I think I paid about 60 euros for the set. The air pump here on the seat tube is a Lysine air pump. Stainless steel, looks kind of nice. I think it was like 35 euros. It seems to be holding up okay so far. Heading up forward to the top, we have a Cane Creek Thudbuster seat post. That was 169 euros, and the Sella SMP seat on the top with the nice gap in the middle was about 70 euros. Bottle cages were like 5 euros each. The stainless steel water bottle, I believe that was like 15 euros, and I would recommend that because it should be drinking out of a stainless steel water bottle, and it also, as you can see, it has the plastic protection for the mouthpiece. Drinking out of stainless steel definitely tastes much better than drinking out of plastic, especially when it gets hot outside. Yeah, the battery is housed in the down tube behind the plastic cover, which locks in place. The battery is a 750 watt battery that will give you about 120 kilometers in the summer and probably about 100, maybe a little bit more kilometers in the winter, depending on how cold it is. And for a person like me who weighs 89 kilograms, it takes about 4 hours to fully charge the battery. Most of the time less, because most people, myself included, never run it completely empty. So I would say for the most part you're going to be looking at charging the bike 2 to 3 hours. Okay, the front fork, as you can see here, is a Fox. If you look a little closer there, it has 34 millimeter stanchions and 120 millimeters of travel. I haven't had any issues with it yet, but you should probably check the air once or twice a year. The handlebar on the front it's from Rental. It's a 760 millimeter wide handlebar with a 30 millimeter rise. Bike enthusiasts will know what I'm talking about. 30mm rise. I replaced the ones that came with the bike, which I believe were 720mm wide and had a rise of only 15mm. The 760 bars provide you with a lot more steering leverage, and the 15mm increase in rise helps to straighten your back and relieve pressure on your shoulders and neck. I know it doesn't sound like a lot, but believe me, you will notice the change. This is definitely an upgrade that I highly recommend, so go for the bars. I think they were 69 euros. Okay, what's next? The bar ends are from Ergon. I think most people are familiar with that company. They make fantastic products. They screw on and have these wonderful little palm supports. They're nice and soft, and quite frankly, the best bar ends I've ever owned. So thanks goes out to Marcus from Marcus E-Bike Abenteuer. If you're listening, thanks again. Now, going over to the cockpit, or going back to the cockpit, it basically has 6 elements. Now let me flip the page here on my script. It's not easy to do this. You know, I'm a real rookie at this, you know, so please bear with me. You know, I cleaned the bike up extra for the occasion, so I hope you're at least satisfied with that. Over there's my little bench with my backpack today. Okay, let's continue. What do we have? The brakes. Yeah, the brakes. First of all, the brake levers are Shimano XT. I think we should go to this side and take a look at them. They're single finger brake levers, which allows you to keep your other 4 fingers on the handlebar when braking. The brake system, which is hydraulically operated, also consists of brake rotors down here. There's your brake rotor, and brake calipers, which are back in here, as you can see. The brake rotors are a sandwich type design in which an inner layer of aluminum is sandwiched between 2 outer layers of steel. This is supposed to be good for heat dissipation, but I'm not an expert, so I won't try and explain the engineering. The calipers use 4 ceramic pistons to push the brake pads together, which then clamp down on the rotor, causing the brake to slow down or stop. The brakes, in my opinion, are one of the most important components of the bike. Most bikes will come with cheap rotors, which tend to warp easily and then drive you crazy by rubbing against the brake pads. The entire braking system costs approximately 400 euros. I've seen entry-level brakes on EMTBs that sell for as little as 60 to 70 euros. And this is what you're going to end up with if you stick to a budget bike. Okay, that's enough for brakes. The next item in the cockpit is the bell. Let's get back here. It's kind of windy, so my papers are flapping and flying around here, as you can see. Where were we? The bell. This is an absolute must. Let's see if I can get it to klingel. Isn't that awesome? I recommend just buying a simple cheap one. This one costs 3 euros. Moving toward the center of the handlebar, we see the battery powered front light from Cat Eye, which is down over here. Which I brought together with the rear light as a set. Here's the rear light in the back. As you can see, the rear light has only about a 3-hour capacity. It only has 1 setting, but I do have a second spare down here just in case that one runs out. But generally speaking, 3 hours is more than enough time. And the front Cat Eye here on the lowest setting, that'll go for like 10 hours, 15 hours. I've never checked it, but look, I mean, who rides that long in the dark anyhow? Okay, let me switch the bike on, because I think it went off automatically. On the left here, you will find the controller for switching the bike on and off. And to the right of that, you have that small little screen there, which gives you a bunch of information. I'm not going to go through that right now. That's a nifty little screen. I like it. I use it, you know, quite a bit. So, yeah, it's nice to have. But you don't have to have it. You can actually take that off, take the screen off, and just run it with this controller if you want to free up some space on your handlebar. Excuse me. Okay, what do we have now next? In the very center of the handlebar, right above the stem and mounted with a CNC cut aluminum handlebar mount. Let's flap that puppy up and down. There it is. It's a Garmin mount, actually. But the device itself is known as a Karoo. I'll see if I can switch it on. Maybe by the end of the video it'll have powered up, because it does take its good time. Okay, I prefer a dedicated navigation device. It has trip-specific features and, most importantly, a much longer battery life than a cell phone. Once again, That's a huge topic. Maybe we'll cover that in another video. You may also notice that I have some yellow reflecting tape around the stem above the headset and also around my seat post and over here. This gives me a little bit of extra reflective power, and I can also coil it around my pant leg or ankle if needed. I normally carry a top bar bag, which is situated right there. I don't really like it, but it's the only one I have. I have all my miscellaneous items in my backpack over there instead. But in that little bag, it's waterproof. It's from Apidura, which is like 60 euros for just this tiny little 1 liter bag. You can stick a lot of stuff in there. I keep, like my, what do I have in there, just a bunch of miscellaneous tools that, to be honest with you, I've never really used. I do keep a spare set of glasses in there, reading glasses. Okay, one of the last items, or I should say the last item actually, is the wheel set and the tires, which we're going to talk about right now. So these are the same wheels that came with the bike. They're called actually Alex rims and have 32 J-bend spokes each. I'm also not an expert on wheels, but if you look on eBay, you can pick up a used set for less than 100 euros. So they're not expensive at all. They're just like bottom shelf stuff that they throw on, consumer level bikes. I've even seen them on bikes that cost up to 5,000 euros. I decided to switch mine out right away. They have a fairly aggressive tread, but at the same time, they're the fastest rolling downhill tires that I could find. I think they're called Maxxis Dissector in the Max Terra rubber mixture or semi-soft. Don't get the real soft rubber because it will wear out really fast. Each wheel set has its own brake rotors, and so that when I switch them out, I don't have to mess around taking all kinds of parts off and then reinstalling them. My other wheel set, by the way, is from a French company called Mavic. The wheels are substantially lighter yet stronger with reinforced hubs and 28 straight pull spokes designed for downhill riding. The wheels also have a higher system weight rating, which I believe is 180 kilograms as opposed to only 150 kilograms with the Alex rims. Now, why is that important? Well, I'm not a downhill type kind of a rider, but I do like to go backpacking, and it's kind of nice to know that you can load the bike up pretty nicely. I try not to do that because actually when you're bikepacking, less is more. Flipping through all of my notes here. In the wind. You wouldn't think it's windy, you don't hear it, but it is. Okay, what do we have next on the list here? The Mavic wheel set, I don't like to have to worry about overloading the bike. The wheel set sells for just under 400 euros, but by the time you install new brake rotors, a new rear cassette, and tires, you're looking at just under 600 euros for the privilege of owning another set of wheels. So that pretty much brings me to the end of the presentation. Although I love riding in the forest, most of the time I'm riding on asphalt paths. So I consider my bike to be an SUV with a substantial off-road capability. This is what fits my needs the best. Would I like to have a fully? Of course, but how many people own 2 e-bikes? In my next video, I'm going to go into what little things you have to watch out for when you buy an e-bike, in particular a Q e-bike. So, until then, let's go shred. So Freunde, wir haben es jetzt geschafft auf der Löwenburg. Da vorne ist der Löwenburger Hof. Das ist ein schönes Restaurant. Da kann man wunderschön einkehren. Das Rad ist erstaunlicherweise noch relativ sauber.
I've never been exposed like this before. I'm good at shutting you out. I've always had a way of keeping closed. Beating, hiding, I've been calling out your name from the darkness, thinking it's too late. If you're finding I've been too much on your plate, I'll keep hiding, calling out your name, calling out your name, calling out your name, calling out your name, calling out your name. Calling out your name. Tell me how you're feeling since you got me out in the open. Now I'm ready to dive in. I know you told you it would be a slow